ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this edition of Sandy Hook Hoaxers Debunked, brought to you courtesy of NewtownPostExaminer.com and SandyHookStalkers.wordpress.com. I'm your host, Keith Johnson, and today we'll be visiting the YouTube channel of Professor Doom1 and reviewing one of his earliest videos entitled Sandy Hook, New Bombshell Evidence of a Staged Event, 2 exclamation points there. This was published on May 20th. Says here, the Lanza house has evidence of a stage, and I provide new evidence that the cars in the parking lot are all a stage prop. Now, folks, when you hear or read hoaxers use terms like bombshell evidence, smoking gun, final nail in the coffin, you can rest assured that it's probably going to be an easy debunk. Now, this is my second in my series of debunkings on those who quote-unquote contributed to this new hoaxer mockumentary entitled We Need to Talk About Sandy Hook. Now, as I've mentioned earlier, there are already plenty of people tearing this thing to shreds, so rather than becoming a third wheel, I've decided to focus on the other theories and claims that have been made by this cast of characters, both past and present. Which brings us to Professor Doom. Now, I plan on doing a series on this character, primarily because he's one of the more prolific hoaxers, at least when it comes to YouTube videos. He's got a lot of them out there and a lot of subscribers who fail to fact-check his work, which is unfortunate because if they simply did that, they'd find out what a poor researcher he actually is. In fact, I would argue that Professor Doom is probably the least competent of his independent media solidarity colleagues, and I'm not alone in that assessment. Professor Doom's flawed research and ineptitude in We Need to Talk About Sandy Hook actually earned him 2 debunkings by Samuel Spieltons. I recommend you check those videos out at your earliest convenience. But not before you finish watching my video, of course. And yes, I do intend on following this up with a debunking of a more recent Doom video, but I wanted to establish a foundation of how inept and clueless this guy is. And I chose this older video because it has an enormous amount of views, and it propagates a theory that I've heard people bring up lately and gained a lot of traction in this Veterans Today article earlier this year by Jim Fetzer. If you feel compelled, you can go there and read it. So let's get to it, shall we? Now, folks, I'm going to put on my director's hat and spare you the first 15 to 20 minutes of Doom's video because it's just pathetic. I mean, part of the time he spends doing damage control, trying to cover up for the mistakes he made in a previous video where he made a major blunder. People called him on it. And instead of owning up to his mistake, what does he do? He makes feeble excuses. He comes up with an even wilder theory with absolutely no evidence to back it up. And the rest of that first 20 minutes, he tries to convince his audience that the Yogananda house was a staged crime scene. But contrary to his claim, he has no evidence. It's just his opinions. For instance, he looks at some crime scene video footage and compares that with still photos and notices some items had been moved. Now, any normal person would conclude that items might be displaced while police are searching through the house and deciding what to take into evidence. To Doom, this is cause for suspicion. Let's go ahead and listen in.
Look at that picture. This picture was sitting in between here. This was up on top of here. Now the picture is setting up on top of the books, and this picture frame is sitting up on top of here. So I just found that really interesting that that would be found like that. But all I can say is that if you're going to pick up the frame, why would you put the picture frame, move this, set this down here, and then put the picture frame here? Why wouldn't you just take the picture out and set the picture frame right back in the spot where you found it? I smell stage.
He smells stage. That's right, folks, because crime stinks and he knows the truth. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. Now, remember, this is a guy who uses terms like bombshell evidence, smoking gun, final nail in the coffin. He's even took in a paralegal course and can file habeas corpus motions, though he can't spell the word. But as you can see, he's thus far failed to deliver on his promise to provide what even remotely qualifies as bombshell evidence. And as you'll see, he fails to deliver the goods in this next segment, dealing with the cars parked in the Sandy Hook Elementary School parking lot on the morning of December 14th, 2012. Here's how he introduces that segment.
I'm going to show you how I can prove to you that these cars that were in the parking lot, it was all staged.
Now, his first theory about these cars is the least compelling, so we'll save that till last and move ahead a little.
Because we're going to see some license plate stickers that's going to, I hope, blow your mind.
Yeah, well, as you're about to see, the only thing that'll blow your mind is how anyone can take this guy seriously. I mean, he shows us some crime scene photos of cars in the parking lot and discovers that some have no registration stickers on the license plates, while the rest have stickers dating back to 2006 and 2007. Here we go.
In my research, 2010 license plates did not have to have stickers on the license plates anymore, registration stickers. I guess now they could just call them in and find out if you're registered or not, or whatever the case may be. But that would explain why there is no sticker on this license plate and some of the other license plates that are here. But that's, remember I said 2010 is when they had to stop using these registration stickers. That's key, because I'm going to show you some other stickers here that are way out of place.
Of course, this is according to his research, which speaks volumes about the quality of his research. He says, according to his research, state of Connecticut as of 2010, no longer required vehicles to have registration stickers on their license plates, which simply is not true. We simply need visit the Connecticut Department of Motor Vehicles website, and we learned that in 2010, vehicle owners in Connecticut were allowed to peel off that front window registration sticker. Not license plate sticker like Doom was talking about, but window registration sticker. And this is significant, as you'll soon find out, that the devil is in the details. Now let's get back to Doom, who's contemplating these perplexing, seemingly outdated registration stickers.
2006. What happened to 2007, 8, or 9? How come it stopped right here in 2006? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense to me, and it would to you too if you did your research. I just went to Wikipedia for this one. It says here, for most classes of vehicles, plate validation, another word for registration, stickers were discontinued in favor of windshield stickers beginning in September 2006. So, Professor, may I call you Professor? Okay, you're not going to see any car with a 2008, 2009, or 2010 registration sticker on any license plate in Connecticut because it would have been on the windshield. And in 2010, vehicle owners were no longer required to have any stickers at all. They could keep the old ones on there or peel them off if they wished. Now, if you say, well, wait a minute, Keith, if they made the change in 2006, why do we see 2007 stickers? Okay, well, the change was made in September 2006, right? So if you renewed your registration prior to that, say in July, you would get a registration sticker that expires in 2007 and put that on your license plate. However, if you walked in after the change, say in October, you'd get a 2007 sticker to put on your windshield, and the old 2006 sticker would remain on your license plate. And that's all you see in the parking lot, Professor Doom. 2006, 2007 stickers. Nothing out of the ordinary at all. But let's go ahead and listen to you continue to embarrass yourself as you point out the obvious.
2007. No 8, no 9. 2007. 5 years before the incident. See this Toyota? Same thing. This Cadillac right here, you'd think, well, surely they would keep up on their registration, right? 2007.
Now get ready, folks, because here comes the conspiracy theory.
All of these cars either don't have stickers or they have stickers that are 2007 or lower. 2007, and there was one 2006. You're going to see another sticker here coming up, I'm going to show you, and you're going to get an even better view. But this indicates to me that all these vehicles are impounds that came from either they were drug impounded cars from and they've been sitting on the lot, or these are cars that came from a junkyard, or whatever the reason. I seriously doubt that they were junkyards, but all these cars were brought in and they got old stickers on them.
So there you have it. That's his theory, and I've proven it to be pure bunk, plain and simple. I mean, this isn't up for debate. Fact trumps fiction. And this is not an extreme example, folks. All of Doom's videos are like this. If he isn't speculating, he's completely misrepresenting the facts. But I won't go so far as to call him a liar. This isn't so much a matter of dishonesty, but one of sheer stupidity. Now, moving on to his next theory, like I said, it's not very compelling, so I won't take up too much time with it. This has to do with the direction in which the cars are parked. Let's listen in.
Here is the driveway. Here is Dickinson. And you could come this way and go that way. Or you could come this way and go here. Right? You following me? Now, explain to me this, if you would. Take a look at the cars. You would have to pull in here, go around here, and then park your car forward. These cars coming here would pull in and pull this way. Every single car that you see here is all pointed to the school except for this one right here. I've looked at all the cars. This is the only one that's pointed this way. That would be indicative of that either all the cars being brought into a stage were pulled forward first, and then these cars were pulled in second. That's what that would indicate to me.
Yes, well, that might be what it indicates to a conspiracy theorist, but parents who've had the experience of dropping their children off at an elementary school know that parking is pretty regimented, especially early in the morning when these cars arrived. And that's when the parking lot was empty and there is no other logical way to park. Take a look at this parking lot from above and these arrows, the way the first car would park in. They'd all be facing towards the school early in the morning. Look at the direction of these arrows. Okay, would not make sense to go around and park with the rear end facing the school. It just wouldn't. Now, I want to make a statement about this picture. I found this on a forum. This wasn't part of Doom's video, but on that forum they posted this picture, and they also posted a picture of the parking lot on the 14th, and they pointed out that these vehicles in the second photo are facing away from the school. But someone in that forum made this very astute observation. They said the first picture was in the morning. People, meaning the one at She's, people will pull through in the morning so that everyone winds up facing the same direction. You do not state the time of the second picture, so people have probably had time to leave and return, maybe out for lunch, doctor appointment, off-site meeting, etc. And when they returned, they have to park where they can and cannot pull through. Make sense? Yeah, well, that makes sense to me. I don't know if we'll be able to convince Professor Doom here. I mean, he's still clinging to long debunked myths. I mean, take a listen to this.
This Adam Lanza's alleged car, and we already know that that license plate is assigned to a Mr. Rodia's mother.
No, it isn't. And the Hoaxers have already even debunked this one themselves. It's they're mixing two police communications. I don't understand why he'd be clinging that. I mean, property records even show that the Rodias, both Christopher and Mrs. Rodia, neither own a Honda Civic. However, if you look at Nancy Lanza's property records, she in fact does own a 2010, or did, a 2010 Honda Civic. So wrong again, Professor. Your video is just rife with disinformation. So let's move on to our grading system. If I was to grade Professor Doom's video on a scale of A to F, he'd get an F. And please don't accuse me of just arbitrarily handing out Fs to all hoaxers. I don't. The last guy, Mr. Stosh, I gave a D+, because at least you could follow along with what he says, and he at least tries to back up his claims with source material. Doom doesn't do that. And before we wrap it up, here's some breaking news for you. As I was putting this together, I came across Doom's latest video, and it sounds like he's retiring from Sandy Hook. Give it a listen here.
This is most likely going to be my last video on this subject. Most likely.
Yeah, well, not so fast, Professor. You got a lot of explaining to do, and I'm not going to let you get away that easy. Okay, folks, that just about covers it. Feel free to leave a comment. I'm eager to hear what you have to say. But if you have a critique, please spell it out and back it up with some facts. Simple thumbs down is unacceptable. You know, I put a lot of hard work into this research, so I expect my critics to do the same. Well, and be sure to check out my websites, the ones you see flashing before you here, and subscribe to this channel, because there's a lot more where this came from. So until next time, this is Keith Johnson, signing off.